Coming to you live from the White Picket Studios in Houston, Texas, this is the Realty Ruckus. If you are in any way, shape, or form involved in the real estate industry, this is the show for you. And now, your host, Alan Hernandez.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Realty Ruckus out of the White Picket Realty Studios. I am your host, Alan Hernandez. Sitting next to me, Jabron Hernandez, David Bonilla, and our resident attorney, Ashley Patton, here in the house.
How you doing?
Ashley Patton actually Ubered over here, you guys. And we have been cracking up about that the whole time.
How are you going to put the man?
And I thought about not letting anyone know about that, but I just couldn't hold it in.
Well, I don't know if y'all been laughing more about my Uber or my suitcase I'm carrying
the
right there.
suitcase that you have is the fanciest suitcase I've ever seen.
I think
a
it's
plastic bag from Walmart.
It's actually Kroger.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think Ashley's ever been to Walmart. I'd be willing to bet money that he's been in there maybe once or twice in his life.
With the Walmartians?
Yeah, that's how I take the pictures. That's all about It's all about the pictures.
So yesterday we had an awesome class. It was House Flipping 101 for realtors. We had to stop the reservations at 100 people. About 65 people showed up. What would you say?
That's David.
David!
It was a little over 50.
Yeah.
Wait,
so I already added 15 to that.
Wait, you had 100 reservations? I mean, you had to stop reservations because you had room for 100 and only 50 people showed up?
Well, if you have room for 100, you expect about half of them to show up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you only plan for about half of them to
Yeah,
be
for
there
a free event, typically your RSVP rate, the capture rate is going to be like 30 to 40% if you're good.
Yeah. So you plan for that. So long story short, we had a presentation. We just went up there and talked about the properties that we've done, everything that it takes to get into house flipping, getting the funding, where to find them, what to do once you have something in place, fixing it up, and then once you have it fixed up, how do you sell it? Which
right.
Everyone in the room was a realtor, so they all knew a lot of the aspects of the acquiring or selling it. Really, what we found out, what everyone was missing was just where to find the money, and so we had one of our sponsors there just handing out pre-approvals. Man, it was awesome. By the end of that class, everyone that left was excited. They were ready to go get pre-approved. They're ready to go out and start looking for their next potential little investment. Man, it was really, really cool. And then afterwards, it was even cooler because it ended up like what, at 2 p.m. or so.
Yeah, I did.
And then everybody decided, well, let's go hang out at Don Carlos or whatever for a few hours.
No time to come back to work, right?
It was pretty much the end of the day at that time. But I was looking back.
There was
at it,
some masterminding going on.
I was talking to Brandon about it, and we were saying that's one of the beautiful things about real estate. Like, yeah, okay, we worked our butt off. One, to put the presentation on, to put the event together, to get the people there, to help all of them learn a different aspect of the business that they probably weren't taking advantage of already and should be. I mean, if you're in real estate, I told everybody yesterday, it's like when you go out and sell Cutco knives. Like, you can't even go out and sell Cutco knives if you didn't buy a set yourself, took out the scissors and cut a penny in half.
Yeah.
At that point you're sold. In real estate, I feel like that should be the case too. Like, if you're going to go out there and help people buy or sell or anything, or give them advice on what repairs to make, this, that, and the other, which every real estate agent does, it probably would help them to actually do it at least once. Right, so that's what we did. We went out, we hung out for a few hours, and then we ended up finding another place called Last Concert Cafe here in Houston.
Oh gosh,
which is probably one of the cool. Now here's the thing: it's called Last Concert Cafe, and I was told it was like a hippie bar. So I'm thinking long dresses, maybe armpit hair, That's what I'm thinking.
No body odor.
Yeah, right. But you go in there, and the food that they serve, Mexican food.
Really?
Yes, it's so totally unexpected.
Tex-Mex,
right?
Yeah, I would say it's more Tex-Mex than anything.
It's good food though. It's really good food, and then they have some live music there, and there's a lot of entertaining people. That's a very interesting place to go to.
A place for people watching, right?
A place for people watching. A place for maybe, if you're into it, maybe buying a special brownie or two. It's that kind of place. It's a really really, seriously, one of the most interesting places or restaurants or bar. Is it bar, restaurant? What do you even call it? It's like a hippie hangout place. And so
this
while
shows
we
you
were
how
there-
much Alan gets out. Like he can't even explain a place. He's like, I don't know. There's like people there, and there was live music
And
and
it's a
food
lounge.
Drinks.
and
lounge.
drinks.
What do you call
and
this?
What is
What
this
is this
monstrosity? This
was-
isn't like my house.
while I was there, I was there to go hula hooping. And man, I haven't hula. When was the last time you hula hooped?
Last time I hula hoop was probably 2-3 years ago at a hippie hangout, but in Bryan, Texas.
Wait, this guy's been there.
No, it was in Bryan. Revolution
Okay, so-
Cafe.
so what-
They're all
what-
called cafes. Watch
What
out for
is
those
it
cafes.
with what is it with hippie hangout places and hula hooping? What's the deal there? Like,
I don't know.
I can't make the connection.
I don't know, but there was this chick that was hula hooping really
Wait.
well, and she challenged me to hula hoop.
I went to that place
Oh,
with you,
really?
didn't I?
Yeah, I
Like
took you
in
there.
downtown Bryan?
Yeah.
Yeah, that place is awesome,
Yeah,
man.
it's really cool.
Yeah.
So they have these huge hula hoops there. I mean, they're ginormous. And of course, we're getting ready to walk out, and somebody's like, "Hey, you should hula hoop." And I haven't hula hooped since I was like 5 years old. I don't.
Why, yes, that sounds like a great idea. I
It
was
sounded
thinking
like
that
an
same
amazing
thing.
idea at that moment. So we decided to go on the hula hoop challenge and hula hoop before we left.
So
And
did
it
you
was
end
amazing.
up with one of the fire rinks?
Not quite.
Okay.
I finally got the hula hoop to go around like 5 times before I was like, all right, done.
Okay.
Did it. I'll wait another 20 years before I do it again.
Yeah, you got to eat a special brownie or two before you move to the fire ring.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we got to take a quick commercial break. We have a great show planned out for you guys today.
Phenomenal.
A phenomenal show planned out for you
Phenomenal.
guys today. When we get back, we want to talk to you guys about Texas and growth and how everything's bigger in Texas,
That's
including our population. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hey everyone, this is David over at White Picket Realty, and I wanted to tell you about my friends over at Plans Express who can save you the headache of running your own permits. These guys are committed to offering a one-stop solution for all your plan and permit needs. They're proudly serving their friends and neighbors in the Houston surrounding areas, and they offer great service and an exceptional value. With dedicated professionals ready to serve, contact them today at 832-675-6217.
Hey Houston, this is Alan Hernandez, and I want to remind you guys to visit our friends over at Quest IRA to learn everything there is to learn about investing with your IRA. Now, if you haven't been over there recently, you have to check them out. They have free educational classes, networking opportunities, the ability to tap into $1 billion for your real estate investing deals. These are the guys to know when it comes to learning about this kind of stuff. You want to make sure you visit them and check them out over at www.questira.com. Again, that's questira.com.
Stop searching and start staying in the know with our Houston Real Estate Events page on Facebook. Follow us by searching at Houston Real Estate Events to stay up to date on the latest events for real estate in the Houston area. If you are interested in having your event on our page, please email me at david@whitepickettrealty.com. Again, that's david@whitepickettrealty.com. Non-paid events only. One more time, find us on Facebook at Houston Real Estate Events, and we'll see y'all at the next one.
What do you love about White Picket?
I love that we work together as a team.
I love being professional while having fun.
I love the innovative approach we take every day.
I love the support we get to grow our business.
We love White Picket.
And I love empowering the next generation of realtors to live life by their own design. If you're looking to grow, come grow with us. Email join@teamwpr.com. Again, that's join@teamwpr.com.
And we are back on Realty Ruckus. Remember that you can live tweet us at Realty Ruckus. You can also find us live on Facebook and YouTube, where you chat with us live during the show. We can answer your questions on the air. Now, David, Ashley,
Here we go.
Son!
What did you guys bring us?
how's the weather going to be this
Dude,
week?
Some good news.
Ashley is pissed. He's been having an Uber for the past week and a half. He's unleashing his wrath upon Houston. Expect thunderstorms this weekend with highs in the 90s and lows in the 70s. So it's going to be hot and muggy. Thank you, Ashley.
Hey, you're welcome. You're
Appreciate
welcome.
that. Thank you so much.
That's
So,
fine.
one of the things that we wanted to talk about today was the growth in population in Texas. We've been chatting about like population in different cities, and BB loves to research where the money goes from different cities to the next. But one of the things that was really interesting about all of this research that we've been doing is what's happening here in our home state. And I love it when I'm going out to like a bar. I don't know when you guys travel. the minute you go out somewhere and you're like, hey, I'm from Texas, like first thing is, hey, everything's bigger in Texas.
Yeah, someone has something to say.
Yeah, everyone always comes up with that. Yeah, and,
It's so funny
And
the
Brandon
way
is
that
talking
people
about
believe
how
this.
everyone is literally bigger in Texas,
No, everybody's taller.
which is true. There's some additional roundness to our figures.
Hey, we're bigger height, width. One way or another, we're going to be the biggest.
I think Hawaii or Louisiana are probably the fattest.
Hawaii, yeah.
Yeah.
You ate a bunch of spam. That's one.
Oh, poi.
Spam.
Yeah, poi.
Yeah, that canned meat.
Yeah. People still eat that?
Yes,
Oh,
they
yeah.
love that in Hawaii, man. That's a delicacy there.
All right, so let's talk about population growth here in Texas, and specifically one city that I didn't really think
This is pretty surprising.
this
I
was
had
happening
no
over here.
idea. This is actually the fastest growing city in the nation,
US,
in the U.S. right now. Yeah.
So I call this city Timbuktu, but you guys call it Conroe.
Yeah.
Got it. And tell me about what's happening over there.
Yeah, so apparently Conroe's the fastest growing city in the nation, and it grew 7.8% year over year. And so it's claimed the top spot. And so not everybody thinks it's Timbuktu.
I'm
It's
curious.
South
What
Dallas.
brings people to Conroe?
So-
It's South Dallas.
South
No.
Dallas.
South
come
Dallas. No,
on.
it's far from
South Dallas, man.
Dallas.
By the time you get to Conroe, you might as well be in Dallas.
Well, so with
Ashley
Conroe,
understands my predicament.
Yeah. He understands the whole Timbuktu predicament, but I just don't see, other than the lake, which is beautiful. Lake Conroe is really beautiful. I don't see what makes people live out there.
You can buy a lot of land for no money.
and also you got to realize Exxon, they built that large campus in the Woodlands. It's just 15 minutes south of Conroe. And I think there was another large employer that moved into the area. So that's what's really boosted the growth
Got
there.
it. That makes sense.
You know,
Okay.
coupled with the cheap land
Yeah.
prices and
Right.
access to water, recreation. I mean,
Speaking of recreation,
yeah.
I know that there was some talk in the past that there was going to be a theme park built in the area. And
Yeah, I remember that too.
I know that drove a lot of people in that direction. In fact, one of my clients who ended up buying in that area, that was one of their biggest selling points, is that they eventually wanted to be close to a potential theme park that was
I
going
thought
to
the theme park was going there by Lake Livingston. I
Well-
mean, it was like called the something with the 4 elements. So
Oh, no. So I've actually got the information here. They're going to be opening May 20th. Oh, I guess it was this past weekend at the Grand Texas RV Resort. It's actually called the Grand Texas Theme Park of New Caney. And it is going to be happening up there. And that's right by Conroe.
Yeah.
That's
kind
really...
of New Caney's off of 59, I thought.
Yeah, 59 North.
Oh man, I blend everything. 40,
right.
anything that's north, it doesn't matter if it's off of 45 or
Like
59.
South
to me.
Dallas, it all goes there.
Yeah, it's all South
just,
Dallas
it's
to
just
me, man.
easier if you call it Timbuktu. But what's impressive about all this is that there are so many people moving over there that now it's made it to the top of the charts.
Yeah, and
population
Houston is
growth.
still actually growing pretty rapidly as well. It ranked pretty highly as far as large urban areas. It was edged out by San Antonio, but Houston came in second as far as Texas cities go. I think we added another 15,000 residents last year to the area.
What's amazing to me is that when you look at the maps of where people are going to right now and how money's moving around, people are flying out of the north. All of those industry cities and all those industry states up in the north, Michigan, Illinois, all of those up there in the north, Ohio, they're all struggling so bad. People are like flocking down to Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Texas. People are actually leaving California to come to Texas. And everyone always talks about how amazing California is, but people are coming to Texas in droves.
Yeah, I was actually pretty surprised when I saw this. We pulled up the map of where money is moving, and we saw that there was a dip of 15 million from California.
Yeah, at
And
least 15 billion with a B. Yeah.
with a B. Dip there and an increase here of that same amount. So imagine what's actually happening out and looking at the states from the outside in. We're really going to see a huge influx of a lot of people coming into not just our city, but the surrounding cities, which at one point were really almost entirely just grass and woods.
Right.
Now they're like being converted. There's new commercial coming in. There's a lot of new construction happening.
I mean, and that's why it's so hard to really start finding, I forgot how many episodes back we talked, that you can't really find homes under 200,000 anymore here in Houston, unless you're in Timbuktu, so to say, or sketch area.
Well, like for example, the house that my clients bought over there in Conroe, they paid $313,000 for it.
I'm sure it's
3-car garage, 3,600 square feet, just macked out everything. I mean, it's an amazing house,
right,
for the price. And it's almost like
but the trade-off is you have to buy your own helicopter to be
pretty
anywhere
much
at any given time and
exactly.
Reasonable.
Right. Anyway, when we come back, we want to start talking a little bit about some of the Zillow legal issues that they're having. So last time we talked about how Zillow is getting in the way with consumers and agents. I mean, we love talking about that because Zillow we don't think is our friend. But now we found out that they're actually being sued by a bunch of people. We're going to talk about how that's going to affect the industry here shortly. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hey everyone, this is David over at White Picket Realty, and I wanted to tell you about my friends over at Plans Express who can save you the headache of running your own permits. These guys are committed to offering a one-stop solution for all your plan and permit needs. They're proudly serving their friends and neighbors in the Houston surrounding areas, and they offer great service at an exceptional value. With dedicated professionals ready to serve, contact them today at 832-675-6217.
Hey Houston, this is Alan Hernandez, and I want to remind you guys to visit our friends over at Quest IRA to learn everything there is to learn about investing with your IRA. Now, if you haven't been over there recently, you have to check them out. They have free educational classes, networking opportunities, the ability to tap into $1 billion for your real estate investing deals. These are the guys to know when it comes to learning about this kind of stuff. You want to make sure you visit them and check them out over at www.questira.com. Again, that's questira.com.
Stop searching and start staying in the know with our Houston Real Estate Events page on Facebook. Follow us by searching at Houston Real Estate Events to stay up to date on the latest events for real estate in the Houston area. If you are interested in having your event on our page, please email me at david@whitepicketrealty.com. Again, that's david@whitepicketrealty.com. Non-paid events only. One more time, find us on Facebook at Houston Real Estate Events, and we'll see y'all at the next one.
What do you love about White Picket?
I love that we work together as a team.
I love being professional while having fun.
I love the innovative approach we take every day.
I love the support we get to grow our business.
We love White Picket.
And I love empowering the next generation of realtors to live life by their own design. If you're looking to grow, come grow with us. Email join@teamwpr.com. Again, that's join@teamwpr.com.
And we are back on Realty Ruckus. Remember that you can live tweet us at Realty Ruckus. You can also find us live on Facebook and YouTube, where if you chat with us live during the show, we can answer your questions live on the air. Now, last week, we got into a really good discussion. I don't want to say last week. I want to say that a huge portion of our show, it should just be called Realty Ruckus / Zillow Hatred, because we talk about Zillow a lot on the show. And it's not
We're
that
going to
we
stop
want to talk about
eventually.
Zillow.
We'll start calling it the
but
dreaded
the
Z.
reality is that Zillow right now is probably the biggest company that's a threat to realtors. They are the ones that are pushing to be the Airbnb, to be the Uber in real estate. And so it's very important to talk about on a real estate show like ours.
Yeah.
And so last week we got into the Zillow instant offers. Now, before we jump back into that, what I want to talk about is another lawsuit. And this was maybe 2 or 3 weeks back that we talked about. It was a lady who was suing Zillow over her Zestimate because she was saying, hey, the Zestimate is so much lower than what my actual value is. And people are coming in and saying, I don't want to pay that for your house. Yeah. The Zillow Zestimate says something else. And basically Ashley said, that's a big deal. Who cares? Right. There's no way she's going to win a case. Now, she retracted her personal lawsuit, but she's coming back and she wants to do a class action lawsuit, which she's already filed a new one already. And
sign me up.
Yeah, she's fighting it because she's saying that Zillow should not have the right to put those out there because they're misleading consumers into believing that that's the actual value of property. And she's working with a home building group now who's also being affected by the Zestimates in the area because obviously we talked about Zestimates are completely inaccurate. You're just gonna sit there?
I'm just trying to think of how I can get signed up for that lawsuit, you guys. Seriously. So, all right. So now we've gotten to the point where she's going into class action, and she's bringing in builders. What's next? Like, what happens after this when there's a class action lawsuit in place?
Well, they lose. I mean, as simple as that. They lose. I mean, it's just you're selling the widgets. You can put a value of widgets. Now, the basic economic principle is supply and demand, right? As more demand, prices go up. Less demand, prices go down. Mm-hmm. And so that's all his estimate is just a bunch of different numbers put together and saying, hey, well, here's what we think it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's if you go to Amazon.com, there's a price on every item. You can't just go buy a toy and say not pay for it. It's got a price. So what's the difference between what Zillow does and what Amazon does?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right. You can't just go in and be like, I don't think that's the price.
Amazon has the actual market value for the item. That's what the difference would be to me.
Well, I mean, if you're a local store, you don't like Amazon because you're getting outpriced.
And
that's true.
Right.
That's true. But Zillow isn't. Yeah. They're not outpricing anybody because they're not in the business of buying or selling homes.
And what they're saying is, and this is the case that the attorney's making. He's saying, look, even though Zillow says on its website our estimates are not an appraisal, the attorney's saying that's just a red herring. That you're saying that. But the reality is that it is serving as an appraisal because buyers are saying it is an appraisal. They're relying on it. Yeah. What do you think about that?
I think reliance is probably the best angle they have, because
they have to prove it, though, right?
Yeah. Oh,
they're going to have to prove that consumers actually view Zestimate as a reliable marker of a home's value, and that's going to be a pretty tough.
We have three realtors on this panel. How many times have y'all gone against a Zestimate saying the property really is this, but Zillow says it's that?
Almost every time.
Right.
So when I'm meeting with a seller, part of my conversation nowadays is, hey, tell me about your Zestimate.
Wow.
No, seriously.
You preclude them.
I already just have assumed that they have gone online, they have typed up, they have at some point gone on Google and tried to find value of their home. Maybe literally just type those numbers, value of my home. First thing that pops up, by the way, if you do that is Zillow and how they can give you a Zestimate. And then you type in your address and boom, they give you a potential value for your property.
And that makes absolute sense in the world we live in today. And Ashley mentioned something similar. When you're looking at the price of something, you're completely right. Sometimes I'll check Amazon while I'm in the store, see if I can get it better on Amazon or I first go check Amazon. So yes, the homeowner is first going to go check Zillow, and if that's really influencing their decisions, then I do think that the agents and the builders here have a case.
So let me tell you
just in my personal opinion.
The other part, because obviously they're trying to get as many grounds as possible. You just do that in a lawsuit. But they're claiming that Zestimate is violating the plaintiff's legal right to seclusion by failing to obtain consent before collecting financial information and using that information to value the properties, then disseminating the value and refusing to allow the plaintiffs to opt out of that dissemination. That sounds like a lot of legal jargon.
It's called public records.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. This is all public data. That doesn't seem like that would.
It's all public records. If you have somebody going there and counting the cars that go through a particular intersection, as you need with any commercial deal, they measure the car flow, the car flow traffic. I mean, that's public data. Anybody can get that. Mm-hmm. That's not protected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the argument against it is that basically Zillow themselves has come out and said, look, we know that our estimates are probably not accurate. Like, we're very aware of that, and we're very aware that we're just using it as a marketing ploy to get people to type in their information, and so that we can collect leads. And this is going to segue into the other argument right now that's going against Zillow, because now what's happening with the instant offer, now agents are really stepping up. They're like the taxi drivers when they started seeing Uber get some ground going. They're like, oh shit, we better do something.
Yeah. This is going to
lose
our jobs.
Yeah, we're about to take our jobs, and that's going to be a really big issue here coming up. And so agents are fighting back, and I do want to hear your side on this, Ashley. So agents are saying our broker owns the listing. Our broker's the one who owns the listing. He owns the right to the photos. He owns the right to all of the information that was typed into the MLS. Zillow's taking that and they're utilizing it to collect leads and then selling those leads but not giving anything back to the brokers or the agents who are the ones that put together that listing.
Yeah, but I bet you those MLSs have some type of agreement where once you put in any information, they are legally allowed to sell that to whoever. So I'm sure that's probably out.
They should be, a prudent realtor would be follow the likes of Getty Images, right? Have you ever used a photo in the internet and then you get the cease and desist letter?
And you get like a $2,500 a cease and desist and request from Getty Images.
And you better pay them because they're not going away.
Yeah,
they'll keep knocking on your door.
Yeah, they
will.
will.
They will run down your door. I mean, they will put judgments down. I mean, they're just.
Well, that's their business plan. That's what they do. They want people to go out there and take their images, and then they go out and sue them.
Right.
But I see what you're getting to. So all we need is a realtor to say, "Hey, those are my pictures. That's my listing."
Absolutely. They trademark those pictures,
take it off.
the pictures, and then every time Zillow uses them, that would probably
start
be
hitting
them.
Right.
Now, what about the argument that David makes that because you put them into the MLS and the MLS is being syndicated automatically to Zillow, so Zillow now, by virtue, gets the rights to those photos?
Well, if you're Michael Jackson and they play your song, does Michael Jackson get paid every time?
Yeah, absolutely.
Every time, and so that's not a really good argument. Because they've just put it out to public domain.
But you don't think
trademark.
You don't think MLSs have some type of language in their membership contracts where once you put any information to their MLS, they're legally allowed to then sell that information?
I don't think they've gotten that sophisticated. But I think every realtor, like if you notice when you have a listing, you can go on 20 different realtor sites and they all show your listing.
Yeah.
And have you ever once said, "Hey, don't show my listing on your website"?
No, of course not. You want as much exposure as possible.
Exactly. So I think it's kind of like bathrooms. They don't actually have a law that says men have to use the men's bathroom, women have to use the women's bathroom.
Oh gosh, we're going down that road.
Oh, that's a rabbit hole.
Absolutely.
And we're going to go to break.
If we start talking about this, we have to start talking about the time where I accidentally walked into the women's restroom.
Oh, really?
Have you heard this story?
No, I haven't. This is a good story.
We'll go through that during the break. I don't think that's an appropriate story for
probably
the air.
Either that or we'll cover it during the 100th episode.
Yeah, there you go. We can talk about it during the 100th
We'll tell you guys
episode.
how I accidentally walked into the women's restroom
And kicked them out.
at Buffalo Wild Wings and freaked out because I saw a bunch of women there, so I kicked everyone out.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a true story. This really happened.
This is a true story.
Yeah.
Did they listen to you?
Yeah.
Yes, they did. They were terrified. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
It happens.
Oh my gosh.
It happens.
Okay, back to Zillow. Back to Zillow here. Okay, so if I was an agent and I wanted to fight back against that, so you're saying that I could send a cease and desist letter to Realtor.com, I could send a cease and desist letter to Zillow, all of those different websites, and say you got to stop using my pictures. I own the rights to those, and so does a photography company, and you need to take my listing down.
I think so. I mean, if you notice in the headlines right now,
I think we're about to change our business model.
Yeah, Conan O'Brien.
Yeah, no joke, man.
Yeah, Conan O'Brien is being sued for plagiarizing some jokes.
Who's Conan O'Brien?
Conan.
Oh, Conan O'Brien.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, one of the jokes he said was like, apparently they had a lot of cities name streets after Bruce Jenner. Mm-hmm. Now they're renaming them Caitlin, instead of, in fact, one place is Jenner cul-de-sac, now it's cul-de-sacless. So, anyway.
Watch out, man.
It's not my joke. It's a blogger joke / Conan O'Brien.
Make sure you give the proper credit. Don't sue the Ruckus.
This is how the Ruckus gets shut down.
Yeah. I mean,
Ashley's going on here stealing jokes now.
So anyway, but it's a certain times that you have a right for that if it's an intellectual property.
Yeah.
I mean, you always hear about the poor man's copyright, which is not really that great, but I had a couple writers who send me original manuscripts for movie plays, right?
Oh, and they mail it to you?
Yeah. And I keep it unopened in my drawer. And so that way, if someone ever steals a manuscript, they can prove when it was written.
I didn't know that actually worked. A high school teacher advised us to do that when we were making our little projects and stuff like that. So I guess it had some merit.
That was good advice, yeah.
All you have to do is prove that you came up with the work independently before they did.
So even when they're using the description that you wrote for the property, that's your description. You wrote that.
Right. Somebody plagiarized it. I mean, it's plagiary.
Wow. Okay.
And
so
I mean, the key is if you're making money on it.
Then, yeah.
If you're making money on it.
Well, they are, because they're using your listing to collect
Absolutely.
leads. And then what's funny is that they try to sell you back your own leads
they do.
on your own listings.
Really?
Yeah, they make you
So
pay.
if you want the leads, so if it's your listing and you want the leads that come from your listing from that Zillow page that they've taken all your information from, you have to be a paying.
What do they call it?
member,
A premier Zillow agent.
Premier Zillow agent to that specific zip code in order to receive the leads from that listing.
From your own listing.
Yeah.
So to me, that's actually a pretty good avenue for realtors to
Yeah.
go down. Then that seems like a more valid lawsuit than to
Right.
try to fight the whole Zestimate thing. Because you're right. At the end of the day, the Zestimate, they're telling you this is not accurate.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're not ever saying, hey, this is a real appraisal. You need to go by this value. They're saying it's got the word estimate in it. I mean, that's what I don't get. But this other argument, I didn't think it was valid until now you're saying that the intellectual property is valid to go off of that. Now, I find that really impressive.
All we need is a bunch of realtors to go out and start suing Zillow. So
Well,
if
I
anybody
know
wants
that
to
there
jump on
are-
that boat, you guys just let me know.
There
'Cause I
are
want to jump on it with you.
brokerages that are threatening now to basically, or they're wanting their MLS systems basically to stop syncing their data.
They are.
with
There's
Zillow.
been petitions in multiple MLSs now where the agents are saying stop syncing with Zillow, stop syncing with any other companies, and because we don't want them to be selling our information.
And I totally agree with that. I think if Zillow's going to make money off of you, they need to be paying you too.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's absolutely true.
Right?
Yeah.
Anyway, we have to take a quick commercial break, but when we get back, I want to tell you guys about an agent who has been approaching one of my sellers and asking her to go list with her instead. We're going to talk about the legal issues behind that, what that
go to
means,
the courtroom for this
what
one.
that means, and how it's going to affect us in the courtroom. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hey everyone, this is David over at White Picket Realty, and I wanted to tell you about my friends over at Plans Express who can save you the headache of running your own permits. These guys are committed to offering a one-stop solution for all your plan and permit needs. They're proudly serving their friends and neighbors in the Houston surrounding areas, and they offer great service and an exceptional value. With dedicated professionals ready to serve, contact them today at 832-675-6217.
Hey Houston, this is Alan Hernandez, and I want to remind you guys to visit our friends over at Quest IRA to learn everything there is to learn about investing with your IRA. Now, if you haven't been over there recently, you have to check them out. They have free educational classes, networking opportunities, the ability to tap into $1 billion for your real estate investing deals. These are the guys to know when it comes to learning about this kind of stuff. You want to make sure you visit them and check them out over at www.questira.com. Again, that's questira.com.
Stop searching and start staying in the know with our Houston Real Estate Events page on Facebook. Follow us by searching at Houston Real Estate Events to stay up to date on the latest events for real estate in the Houston area. If you are interested in having your event on our page, please email me at david@whitepickettrealty.com. Again, that's david@whitepickettrealty.com. Non-paid events only. One more time, find us on Facebook at Houston Real Estate Events, and we'll see y'all at the next one.
What do you love about White Picket?
I love that we work together as a team.
I love being professional while having fun.
I love the innovative approach we take every day.
I love the support we get to grow our business.
We love White Picket.
And I love empowering the next generation of realtors to live life by their own design. If you're looking to grow, come grow with us. Email join@teamwpr.com. Again, that's join@teamwpr.com.
And we are back on Realty Ruckus. Remember that you can live tweet us at Realty Ruckus. You can also find us live on Facebook and YouTube, where if you chat with us live during the show, we can answer your questions live on the air. Now, Alan wanted to talk today with Ashley regarding a very serious legal issue.
Yeah.
And it's actually something that I've seen happen a lot in the past. Not a lot, but I've seen it happen. And it's just about what do you do when this situation happens?
This happens all the time. I mean, it's not common, but I know that I've talked to other agents and brokers that go through this experience, and I actually, have tried to talk to realtors about not doing this when they see something that's already listed or whatnot, because here's what happens. Let's say you have the contact information of a certain seller, right?
Okay.
Or let's say you've at some point even sold that client a house, but you didn't do a real good job of maintaining your relationship. You didn't follow up with them. You didn't keep up. You didn't service that client by any means. And just a year or two later, they decide. Along comes Alan, and Alan's like, "Hey, you should sell or whatever," and boom. There's a listing in place.
Yeah.
Now, all of a sudden, this agent comes back and says, she sees the listing, of course.
She trolls this property. You're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Obviously, she
I
hasn't.
can't believe she didn't use me or he didn't
That's
use
exactly
me.
right.
Yeah.
That's exactly what
I
happened.
represent
Did it
them
sound
find
like
this
that?
house, you know?
Yeah. I helped them find it, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And here's the thing. Unfortunately, my client overpaid for this property. She was not advised properly on the actual square footage of it. So my client doesn't actually trust this other agent very much, right? But at the same time, this agent, and I saw the text messages between them because I asked her to send them to me, and which,
Now, if I'm not mistaken, the agent is in the same building too.
The agent
correct?
lives in the same building.
Yeah, so these people have to see each other on a regular
They see
basis.
each other on a
man.
regular basis, and the conversation is insane.
I hope they're watching the Ruckus right now.
Oh, and that's fine. And the conversation is insane because this agent is literally approaching my client and saying, "Why would you sell that property at that price? I can get you so much more money than what this other agent is getting you. Nothing's being done properly. Look at the way this is done. Look at the way." So basically going through the listing and bashing everything she can about it, and then promising her something that is literally undeliverable.
Yeah.
So saying I can get you, and she came up with like these two numbers out of nowhere, saying that she could get like $250 or $275 for it. And I'm looking at the comparables, and there's absolutely nothing that could prove that.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably wouldn't even appraise for that.
That girl was at the last concert cafe, huh? She went and ate one too many brownies.
But imagine what she's setting up. So here's what happens. Even though my client doesn't actually trust this agent very much, now it's created a scenario where she doesn't really know what's right and what's wrong. She's got this other agent.
She's being split, man.
She's got this other agent telling her that she can get her a whole lot more money. She doesn't really know if that's true or not, but she obviously wants to know if she can get more.
Sure.
And why we're not shooting for that.
Yeah.
And it's creating a lot of chaos.
It sucks because now she already knows she doesn't trust that agent. But there's been some seeds of doubt planted as far as your agency is concerned.
Yeah,
that sucks.
There's a lot of doubt that's been planted in there.
And if I'm not mistaken, she is basically saying, "Let me take back over the listing."
Well, that's exactly what it says. And so at the end, it says something like, "You should just let me list it for you. I will make sure you don't lose any money."
Oh my gosh!
And so it was great because I was able to get that conversation in writing. So I have a picture of it, and we immediately, Brandon and I submitted it to Trek, and I sent this agent a email or a message through Facebook because that's how she's been communicating with everyone, saying, "Hey, you need to stop because it's already been submitted." She still has not stopped.
No way.
So this morning or the day before, sent her another message saying, "Hey, this place is gonna be worth 2 times this amount in the next few years because this is not gonna happen. Why would you be selling it so low?" And it's like,
is this an active agent? Like, is this agent actively doing deals?
An active agent actively doing deals.
That's crazy.
And this is the kind of stuff that you deal with on an everyday basis. Now the question is it ethical?
Legal.
Well, is it ethical and is it legal?
That's true. Because there's two different grounds there. Yeah. Ethical is just, is it the right thing to do or not? But then you get into actual legal grounds of, can you be punished for doing that?
Well, let me tell you guys something that I know. So here's what happens. For example, yesterday I had a client who decided, after meeting with me, decided to go with another agent.
Yeah.
Right? And it was kind of funny because as I was going through this email that I was sending this client as a follow-up, "Hey, how are things going, blah, blah, blah," I realized that there's a difference in actually trying to help the client and then actually trying to take the listing. So the email that I was sending said, "Hey, I see that this house has been sitting for a little while. No big deal. You chose another client. Here are probably 5 things you can do to get more traffic to your listing. If there's anything I can help you with in the future, let me know, right?
Yeah.
But I literally gave her 5 things that she could do.
Yeah.
Whereas this other agent is with my client is literally saying, hey, your listing sucks, and I can get you way more money.
Yeah.
You should come list with me.
Well,
And
the difference between your question and her question is you asked, is there anything I can do in the future?
yeah,
She's saying, hey, I want it now.
yeah,
Yeah.
And anytime you know of a contract, you interfere with it tortiously. Tortious is a civil wrong. So, and it's a lot easier to prove a tortious interference with the contract than it is a breach of contract. Because with a breach of contract, you have to show that there is a contract, it was breached.
Yeah.
With a tortious interference contract, all you have to show is the contract was in existence, you knew about it, and you chose to breach it for personal gain.
Yeah. And that's all there.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question, because it all comes down to really what damages you can collect. Because sending her a cease and desist letter and getting an injunction against her for doing that, down the legal route, you're not getting really anything out of it.
and it's just costing you money.
Yeah, until you get your permanent injunction, and you can go after fines and eventually, I guess, jail time. But that's way down the road. What is their damages wise money? I mean, if that listing was to be taken away from him on the ground that she's like, hey, I'm going with what this lady said. I don't think you're doing a good job. I'm going to fire you. Can he go after that agent for the commission?
Well, absolutely. That's the damage.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing about those, he's protected because during the time of his listing agreement, if he's fired as an agent, he still has contractual rights. So but if she fires him nonetheless, there's goodwill.
Yeah.
And maybe her family, her friends. I mean, any type of damage you can prove, as long as there's some kind of direct correlation. Like if she was going to refer you to all of her family members,
Yeah.
and now she doesn't because
Yeah. You potentially lost 3 or 4 listings instead
Right.
of that one, so you can
Right.
claim even more.
But you have to be able to prove that.
you have to be able to prove it.
So, all right. So having the messages that I have from the agent to my client,
And you literally have
on
the messages
Facebook.
that say, hey, drop him as your agent and hire me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that
Oh
enough
my gosh,
proof?
man.
Is that enough proof to go with the tortious interference?
It's enough proof to file the complaint. It's enough proof to file a lawsuit. I'm not sure if you want to because this person doing his business obviously not doing enough business in order to chase your listing for that much.
Right.
So
And this is not a huge.
So what you're
listing
saying is
either.
that even if you were to win, you don't really have much to stand to win. Now, but couldn't you go after the E&O insurance?
if they have it. If they have it, but really when you think about it, a lot of times E&O insurances, they exclude a principal's tort.
Got it. Okay.
So if I go out and murder somebody and kill somebody and if I beat David up right here,
Hey, let's do it.
no offense, I don't know if I could, but should we get a fistic encounter, right? A fistic encounter, like gloves come off flying and we start going after each other like Popeye and Brutus, right?
My headbutt you.
Yeah, please don't do that. So if that happens, I mean, if I went after him intentionally, there's an exclusion for that. A lot of times you don't get paid in a medical policy if you take your own life.
That makes perfect sense.
All right. So when this happens, because I know this happens out there to other agents. I know that.
You cannot be the only agent.
You
that's
have
ever
that
been to.
really, really young agent or just really, really dumb agent who will approach anyone and everyone they can,
Or just a really unethical agent, because they could be incredibly talented, smart, really good at real estate, but they just have no ethics.
Right.
And maybe it's part of their business plan and structure to just approach people and say, I can do a better job, come list with me.
Wow.
Is there anything that an agent can do to keep that from happening? Or what are the steps to do when that does happen?
2 things. First, file a complaint with Trek.
Yeah.
A lot of times, or, even if you don't want to do that, contact their broker. Because a lot of times it's not the broker doing the unethical activity; it's someone who works underneath some other broker.
That's true. The broker might be willing to say, "Hey,
Right.
I'm not down with that at my firm. Get out."
Right.
That's true.
Oh wow, yeah, I never thought about that.
That's true. That could be a real quick
And so-
way to get
Because the broker is liable at the end of the day, right?
Without doubt. It'll be his insurance because, well, It's not mine.
No, that was mine.
That was our producer.
The producer.
Oh,
the producer
I
who
know.
yells at us for that.
I'm
him.
I'm going in the corner.
Got
I'm going in
Hey,
the corner.
mine has a
I'm
big,
so
mine has
sorry,
a big
guys.
salad bar right there, so my rate.
I'm so embarrassed right now.
Okay, so filing a complaint with Trek.
File a complaint with Trek, contact the broker, and if all else fails, sue.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, sometimes you have to protect yourself.
Here's a question. So is suing an option before I lose the listing or after? Or do I actually have to lose a listing before I can say, hey, you know what, this person damaged my ability to be able to make this happen?
Well, I mean, basically what you're going to do is you're going to sue saying you lost something. You know, you're always going to assert, like every time a lawsuit is done, you put your best foot forward. I lost millions of dollars, I lost this, I lost that, potential losing all this. And, you know, you prove the damages during a lawsuit. You don't prove the damage when you file it.
Mm-hmm.
You prove it during a lawsuit. Mm-hmm. So you have time to prove the damages as you go forward.
Is that something you could file in small claims court, or do you actually have to file like a corporate lawsuit?
Yeah, small claims court's up to $10,000.
Okay.
And so as long as you're an individual, because if you're a corporation, you have to have an attorney.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Right.
Is that it gets so much more expensive if you have
Right.
to do a corporate lawsuit.
Right.
Mm-hmm. In this case, we're talking about an $8,000 commission.
It's worth it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Go to small claims, you think?
I would go to small claims court. Well,
there you go.
Put it this way. I would say pay me first. Then go to small claims court when they won't pay you. But get the demand. And the reason why you get the demand is because if they don't answer it, it's further proof of their negligence.
Wow.
You know, if they give you a low ball saying, I'm not paying you $1, like, really? Why not? I mean, you wanted my client to pay you. Why, you know,
Yeah.
makes no sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, we have some fun to have with an agent then, I think. And you know what? I don't like doing this because I feel like in the community,
pain in the butt, man.
First of all, it's a
too.
pain in the butt. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, it deters me from doing other things that I want to be doing. Second of all, I feel like we're in such a tight knit community. At the end of the day, everyone here in Houston knows each other.
Yes, I agree.
Everyone sees each other at all the events, you know. And the last thing I want to do is stir up bad blood with someone, you know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I also realize that when you're going through your business and there's that one person that kind of runs their business this way,
Yeah.
at some point or another, they're going to run into that dead end. And someone's got to say, hey, look, this is not going to work.
Yeah.
Look, if you don't pull the plug on it now, this is what it really comes down to for me. If you don't pull the plug on it now, it's going to continue to happen until somebody finally pulls the plug.
Yeah.
So one of the agents is going to have to step up and say, "Hey, this unethical crap that's going on,
Yeah.
I'm not okay with it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let it fly, and I'm going to hit you for everything that I can because I don't want you to ever do this again." And so I don't think that there's anything wrong with it. Now I do agree with it's a pain in the butt. It takes a lot of time. And it takes you away from doing things that you want to be doing.
Exactly.
Because you're having to deal with a lawsuit. And let's be honest, lawsuits are never fun on either
They never
side.
are.
Nope.
They're never fun. Anyway, we have to take a quick commercial break. But when we get back, we're going to have a quick conversation about how to approach your sellers for that dreaded conversation on price reductions.
Uh-oh.
So we're going to make that happen.
Uh-oh.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hey everyone, this is David over at White Picket Realty, and I wanted to tell you about my friends over at Plans Express who can save you the headache of running your own permits. These guys are committed to offering a one-stop solution for all your plan and permit needs. They're proudly serving their friends and neighbors in the Houston surrounding areas, and they offer great service and an exceptional value. With dedicated professionals ready to serve, contact them today at 832-675-6217.
Hey Houston, this is Alan Hernandez, and I want to remind you guys to visit our friends over at Quest IRA to learn everything there is to learn about investing with your IRA. Now, if you haven't been over there recently, you have to check them out. They have free educational classes, networking opportunities, the ability to tap into $1 billion for your real estate investing deals. These are the guys to know when it comes to learning about this kind of stuff. You want to make sure you visit them and check them out over at www.questira.com. Again, that's questira.com.
Stop searching and start staying in the know with our Houston Real Estate Events page on Facebook. Follow us by searching at Houston Real Estate Events to stay up to date on the latest events for real estate in the Houston area. If you are interested in having your event on our page, please email me at david@whitepickettrealty.com. Again, that's david@whitepickettrealty.com. Non-paid events only. One more time, find us on Facebook at Houston Real Estate Events, and we'll see y'all at the next one.
What do you love about White Picket?
I love that we work together as a team.
I love being professional while having fun.
I love the innovative approach we take every day.
I love the support we get to grow our business.
We love White Picket.
And I love empowering the next generation of realtors to live life by their own design. If you're looking to grow, come grow with us. Email join@teamwpr.com. Again, that's join@teamwpr.com.
And we are back on Realty Ruckus. Remember that you can live tweet us at Realty Ruckus. You can also find us live on Facebook and YouTube, where if you chat with us live during the show, we can answer your questions live on the air. Now, we've had a lot of good information today, and we're about to give you an even better one because we're jumping into Alan's tip of the day. And today's tip is absolutely phenomenal. And Alan, what's the tip today?
Today's tip is on how to have the absolute dreaded conversation with a seller on price reducing their home. Now, here's the thing.
That sounds like fun.
No one wants to have this conversation.
No, God,
it's
no.
a horrible conversation to have, not only for you as the agent, if you're representing that client, it's bad for them too, because you're basically telling them, hey, I need you to take some money out of your pocket and basically lose it.
Yeah,
you know? I mean, and no one likes to hear that. No one loves to talk about money losses at any given moment or point.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So what we want to do is we want to have that conversation with them sooner than later, because the longer you wait, the harder it gets. And the way that it's done properly is by, one, prepping the bun before you put it in the oven.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Is that an Ashleyism?
That is an Ashleyism.
Is it an Ashleyism?
Yes, it
I
is.
took it out of your book. I'm going to borrow that one for a little while.
We'll take this one off the board.
Thank you very much.
Put it down, Colin.
Prepping the bun before you put it in the oven basically means you're going to let them know. You're going to send them just a quick little note. Hey, we need to have a conversation about the status or health of this listing.
Yeah.
And I like to say status or health because they know that it's about how it's performing.
I like that, man. I've never heard it said that way. I want to talk about the status and health.
Yeah.
Because no one ever has a good conversation about health. You're never hey, let's talk about your health. You're doing so great, man. I'm so happy for you. Your cholesterol levels are great. Yeah. Anytime it's a conversation about health, you know it's going to be something a little negative without you having to say, well, we really need to talk about reducing your price.
Instead of calling, or instead of sending a text or however you communicate, an email, we need to have a price reduction conversation. You're already setting them up for being very, very defensive.
Yeah.
And then the conversation at that point may not go well for you regardless, because their entire way of being is going to be to combat anything that you say.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So a couple of things that we figured out over the long term of doing or being part of this industry is, one, prep the bun. Let them know that you want to talk about the health of the listing.
Now, wouldn't you also say that you want to let them know before you ever get the listing that price reduction may be a possibility? We got mad scientist stuff going on over here, man. but you want to let them know in advance that price reduction could be a possibility that might come up.
There's no
right?
doubt about it. And so what happens in a lot of times is you will give your recommendation on what the property will be listed for.
Yeah.
Right? And every once in a while, they'll come back and say, look, we're really, really adamant about listing at this price.
Yeah.
And if it's within your tolerable zone, meaning if you really realistically think that property will appraise and potentially sell for that, then you may give it a shot.
Yeah.
Right? But you also want to let them know that there's the possibility that by going at a price that is not recommended by you, then there's also the possibility that it's going to sit on the market longer, and that you'll have to have these tough conversations.
Yeah.
Right? And you're going to let them know up front, we may have to have a conversation on the health and status of your listing at some point and figure out how we can make it a healthy listing again. So, and that's all it comes down to. And then the other point is, once you have that conversation, do not do it in writing. Do not do it by text message. You have to do it in a person-to-person phone call.
Yeah.
If you could do it personally, even better, because one of the things that I noticed is you get way better results if you can show them where you're coming from.
And
actually share your screen with them and show them what other properties you're selling.
Yeah, and I love the fact that you say you have to do that conversation in person, because it is easy to have that conversation over text message.
Yeah.
It's easy to even have that conversation over the phone.
Yeah.
But the problem is the effectiveness of it is
Yeah.
very diminished, and you leave a space open for them to be angry and upset with you, as if it's you that's the problem
Yeah.
with the listing.
We had a listing. I don't know if you remember this one. It was a couple of months ago. It was brought in by one of our other agents, and at the time the property appraised for what it was listed for. It was
That's
like
right,
in the
yeah.
300s
Yeah.
or 315s or so. That small little subsection of that market took a dive, and I had to have a conversation with the seller on how we were going to take off 50 grand in value. And he has an appraisal that shows that.
That's got to be really, really
Yeah.
frustrating too for a seller. But
Yeah, he
when
has an appraisal that says
Yeah.
it's worth this much. Why
Yeah.
are we taking off 50 grand? Imagine if you call somebody and you say, "Hey, we just got to take 50 grand off." So the other way to do that, if you can't meet with your client, is through a Google Hangout meeting.
At least where you can see their
Yeah.
face and they can see yours, right?
Google Hangout meeting, and you share your screen, and it's all about factual data. So hopefully that gives you guys some ideas on how you can have that dreaded price reduction conversation, because it is something that every one of us has to talk about at some point
Yeah.
or another in our
Jinx.
career. Yeah. and if you do these successfully, eventually you're going to sell the property.
Yeah.
But if you avoid them, that's when you have issues, and that's when things don't sell and sit
You might
around.
be able to keep a client too.
Exactly. So, all right, I hope that helps you guys. Let's talk about some of the other events that we have coming up, because I know we have some really amazing ones.
So we did have a very successful class yesterday, and then coming up, as far as the end of the month goes, we're going to be closing out the month with our 100th episode celebration this coming Tuesday, and that's going to be at Lincoln Bar on Washington. Doors open at 4, and I think they're going to be doing a happy hour just for us until 7, right, baby?
Correct. 4 to 7, they're going to be doing a happy hour just for us. We're going to have drink tickets. We're going to be having games, parties, giveaways.
Where's Lincoln
Whatever
Park?
you guys
On
want,
Washington.
we can do it.
Washington what? Intersection.
What?
Oh, I don't know.
Lincoln Bar is, I believe it's close to Washington and Yale.
Okay.
Yeah, just go in that area. Get on Washington. It's not that
Yeah,
long
you'll
of a
see it.
street.
Okay.
If you get to downtown, you went too far, turn around and go
Gotcha.
back the other way. I'm sure your Uber driver will be able to get you there.
I hope that I have an Uber by then.
Yeah, so that one is going to be a lot of fun. And then going into June, of course, we have patent law firm's infamous Bugs and Suds.
And we're
All
having
those
rain or
events.
shine, rain or
Yeah.
shine
We're
this year.
excited about that one.
Can't wait for that. If you didn't get the invite, start closing transactions at patent law
There
firm.
you
Sorry,
go.
guys.
That's how you can get on the
There
list.
you go. Yeah, it's that simple. I actually heard somebody go, I didn't get an invite for it. I was like, oh, do you close deals there? No.
Well,
Then
that's
why
why.
would you expect to
Yeah.
get an invite?
Why would they spend any money on you?
Right.
Yeah,
Of course.
absolutely, man.
People don't get that sometimes, man. It's
Yeah.
crazy how that works. All right,
That's-
so we have that one.
That's
what else?
pretty amazing. They don't get that. And then June 13th, White Picket happy hour at
Woo!
Sagarno Brewery.
Yeah.
Jet Lending is going to be our title sponsor for that one, and we're expecting a 300-plus crowd, free beer, free food, and tons of great real estate networking.
Yeah, you know what? I've gotten so many good reviews and just great feedback from that happy hour that I'm just really excited and looking forward to it on this next round,
Yeah.
because the last one we maxed out the space,
Yeah.
which is tough to do. It's a big space,
Yeah.
and now we're ready to start doing that again. So we're
I know. It was funny after last happy hour. The guys that run the bar came up to me and David and they were like, "We're gonna have to have a conversation about your guest count.
about the health and status of your party."
Health and status here." Me and David were like all shifty, like, "Oh God, where do we go? We got to get out of here."
They're about to ask us to pull out the credit card again.
Oh, yeah.
Run.
It happens. All right, so is those all the events that we have?
Yeah, that's going into June so far is what I have right now. But of course, I just want to let you guys know, keep up with the Houston Real Estate Events page. Just search Houston Real Estate Events. Follow the page, and I'm going to be updating that. And if you have any events for me to add on there, I'd love to see them.
Definitely. All right, guys, that's it for our show for today. Thank you guys for joining us today on the Realty Ruckus, right out of the White Picket Realty Studios. Don't forget to keep up your ruckus, and we'll see you next time.
On Tuesday, 100th episode.
100th episode.
Better be there.
We'll see you guys.
Woo, woo.
Where are my balloons? Where are my balloons?
I want balloons.
I want to see some balloons.
been the Realty Ruckus. Make sure and join us every Tuesday and Friday for new episodes. Find us on YouTube and Facebook for replays of previous episodes. And as always, keep elevating yourself and keep up your ruckus. Thanks for listening. Realty Ruckus has been brought to you by Smart Pig Media Productions.